Hello everyone, my name is David Spears and I'm South Australia's Minister for Environment and Water, the Minister in our state responsible for climate change action and climate change policy. It is a great pleasure to be able to join you today from coastal Adelaide, the capital city of South Australia, a city of about 1.4 million people between hills and sea in beautiful South Australia. It's a spring evening here. I'm in my local constituency, the electorate that I represent, and I want to talk to you about what South Australia has been up to in recent years. We're a city and a state which has worked so hard to lead not just Australia but to lead the world when it comes to both climate change action, emissions reduction and adaptation, because those two elements are so important to us. We know as a fairly small player in terms of overall global emissions, we will not be able to change the trajectory of the globe. So what we need to do is build resilience, adapt our community so that we are better prepared for the inevitable impacts of a changing climate. No more so than along the coastline. We've got 5,067 kilometres of coastline in this state. It's the front line in the defence against climate change, and right here is one of those places that has to adapt. I'm excited to be able to be part of the launch of the UN Global Innovation Hub for climate change. I look forward to South Australia putting forward our ideas, engaging with partners all across the world, talking about the challenges that you face, the challenges that I face and the government that I'm part of faces, the challenges that business, that community, that people of all socio-economic backgrounds face as we rise to the challenges of a changing climate and grab hold of the opportunities as well. One of the things that I, in my role as Minister, have been really focused on is what those opportunities are. Let's not see climate change as a doom and gloom scenario. Yes, there are big challenges to be faced, but equally there are opportunities. There's economic development opportunities. There are opportunities to innovate, to create solutions, both in terms of emissions reduction and also adaptation. And that's where South Australia, this state where I am today, can be right at the very heart of helping jurisdictions from all around the world change, adapt, build resilience and rise to these challenges. I wish I could be there in Scotland. I am actually Scottish. You might pick that up from the accent. Moved here to this beautiful city as a high school student with my parents. But because of the world we live in today, I can't be there in Glasgow. Instead, I'm sharing South Australia's story over this video. South Australia over the last couple of decades has made massive leap forwards in terms of emissions reductions. In fact, by around 2030, 100% of our energy, in a net sense, will come from renewables. We've got huge penetration of wind and solar. Our geography, our climate, and our significant amounts of open space mean that we're set up for that. We do very well on that front. We've got natural assets that we can work with. That's not the case everywhere in the world. I'm the first to acknowledge that. But because we've got those advantages, we've grabbed hold of them. We've done that since the early 2000s, and our trajectory has been exceptional. We've also been really successful in decoupling economic growth from emissions reduction. Back 10, 15 years ago, it was felt that you couldn't do that. You couldn't massively lower emissions while at the same time seeing a situation where your economy continued to grow, where your society wasn't disadvantaged, where job creation continued apace. But we've shown that you can actually do that. People shouldn't be frightened of a transformation to a green, clean, innovative economy. South Australia provides that roadmap, and that's something that I'm very keen to be able to share with you today over this video, but more face to face in the future, wherever you are. But equally, I'd love love to invite you here to South Australia. We've got far more than just these stunning beaches to share. We've got intellectual property. We've got great minds in academia and science and research coming up with these solutions and overcoming the barriers. We've had barriers along the way as well. We had a statewide blackout in 2016 because we didn't necessarily have the resilience built into our energy grid. But we've overcome that. We've built grid-scale storage solutions in terms of huge batteries that can kick in and power our state and store energy for when it needs to be deployed. In fact, we've got one of the largest per capita household battery storage schemes in the world, and it's becoming more and more common for people when they build a new house here to not just put rooftop solar panels, as has been fairly common for the last couple of decades, but also to back that up with a household level battery. Aside from just energy, we're also looking at significant changes with regard to our agricultural economy. That's a big thing here. The production of food and fibre is right at the forefront of what South Australia is all about. It goes way back to when this state established in the 1830s, and it continues to be a predominant source of income in South Australia today. But we do have to work with our agriculture sector. We have to help them find ways to reduce their carbon footprint, to reduce the emissions that they produce, and we are doing that. We're committed to doing that, investing in the seaweed industry so that livestock can have food that reduces their methane production. Another area that we continue to look at, and which we have challenges around because of the large the geographical size of our state, is around transportation, both commuting and of the transport of freight. South Australia does have challenges on that front. I'm the first to admit that, but with a government subsidised electric vehicle charging network, with research and development in hydrogen helping us transition our larger vehicles to hydrogen in the future, I'm confident we can rise to those challenges as well. In terms of waste management and resource recovery, the circular economy, where waste is turned into a commodity and goes round and round and round the economy, I am excited to say that South Australia not only leads the nation, but leads internationally on many of these things. This can only be a good thing again in terms of the gases, the greenhouse gases that traditionally leach from landfill. We are significantly reducing landfill. We have one of the most sophisticated composting industries in the world, and we're continuing to challenge ourselves to come up with solutions for resource recovery, waste management, the circular economy. That's why I'm really excited to announce that we have just established Circular 360, a global entity which is looking at working with our universities, working with the private sector, working with government to come up with innovative ways to reduce our footprint when it comes to waste production in this state. And if you want to find out more about Circular 360, about our journey towards emissions, please check emissions reduction, about our journey in terms of transportation transformation, and also the challenges and opportunities in our agricultural sector. Please check out the resources that we've made available today. Please Google South Australia and see what we have to offer. This state is a small state in terms of our population, but we believe we're punching so far above our weight. This is a great place to call home. It's a great place to visit. It's a great place to invest and do business. Learn more about South Australia. Join us as a partner. We can't wait to do business with you.